I think it's pretty obvious we don't know what we're talking about, so I think everything's good.
Now y'all know what's wrong with me. And on that note,
I don't even know if it was bad reffing. I just know that it was bad on our part.
Go support your team. Go
Yes.
support band, cheerleaders.
The autumn mix inspired Michael Ball. It's the first time he's ever raised his hands on a yes.
Well,
so that's pretty impressive.
Scare that referee coming back. Let's talk a little football.
Hello, everyone, and glad you could join us for the Press Box. Welcome. Let's talk football with Randy Young, Thomas County Central, Michael Best, Cairo
Yeah, think about it.
And Bainbridge Bearcats.
You almost got it.
I know, almost messed up. And then Jim Rayburn, the Bark of the Dogs, Thomasville High School. I'm Austin Reeves.
I'm the bite.
You're the
Daryl's
Bite.
the
Daryl's
bark.
the Bark. You're the Bite. Okay, I get.
I do bite too.
I almost.
Very appropriate.
Yes,
And
almost.
Michael's the hydrant.
Oh man.
Very
Oh
appropriate.
man.
That's good. It took me a second.
You'll remember
All right,
it.
listen.
Jim will
Very
use it.
appropriate.
I tell you, when dogs and cats, dogs and jackets get
And
together
neighbors,
here,
and
goodness,
neighbors.
I'm telling you.
Playoff edition.
All right,
I
playoff
saw a thing on
edition.
the
Let's.
vet. I saw a thing on the vet that somebody calls it 3 blind mice.
Oh yeah.
Could not be more accurate.
Four blind mice. Yeah. We love it. Bring it on. Bring on the insults because they're all true.
Yeah,
All right,
no-
let's
no
talk
doubt.
Thomasville. No, let's don't talk Thomasville. I have Central first on the list. Get this show on the back on tracks here. Central with a big win. Winner over Northside, wins the region. I don't know. It's just hard to put this season into context for the Jackets. But Randy, give it a try.
It's been remarkable, is the only way I know how to put it. Going into the season, I was hoping, and I think most of the Central folks were hoping, that we would be able to just be competitive and to be able to run the table and to be able to win a region championship and to beat a team in Northside that we've never beaten before. So far, I don't even know. Again, I don't really have words, and really am I lost for words, but I really don't have them.
Are you scared to mess up the mojo?
That's a historical moment.
Yes.
It
right.
is. Write
That's
that
right.
one down, Jim. That with along with the hydrant. What were you saying? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I mean, just not having words. You don't want to jinx it, right? Just
No,
kind of
no,
doing this
just,
ride here.
I mean, everybody statewide has just been waiting for the carriage to turn into a pumpkin at some point, but midnight hasn't come along yet, and hopefully we can continue the run. Now, this Northside team, defensively, about as good as we probably are going to see. Their front four, all four of them are D1 prospects, and they will be playing on Saturdays somewhere. The safety there that you see, number 7, is committed to Florida State.
We don't want him.
He's a 4-star guy, and he's pretty
He
impressive.
just got beat.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. I mean, it happens sometimes. But
Just don't do it when he goes to Florida State.
That's
okay?
right.
Yeah.
He
That's
better
right.
improve.
That's right. But our guys were down 14-10 at the half, and then the second half our defense took over. They ended up with 62 total yards in the second half, 3 first downs total, and our offense was able to get 14 points on the board, finished out with a nice 50-yard Ricky Fulton run. This was a big play. Well, actually, there's a big play coming up here in a second or two. We had the play of the game was an interception, believe it or not, from Northside, where we throw an interception, and their guy runs it to about the 35, and Adam Hopkins, who was the intended receiver, runs the guy down from behind and tomahawks the ball out of his arms, and we recover it. And that was a turning point in the ball game. It really was, because they, at that point, kind of had momentum, and that saved us from having to try to make another desperate stand with them down deep in our territory. Ricky Fulton had a big night, closed it out with a nice 50-yard run at the end of the game that kind of sealed the deal. And we ended up with about 400 yards of offense. They ended up with about 270 or so, but again, 60 of those in the second half. So solid win, and we run our record to 10-0. Only the 5th team in our program history to run the table during the regular season. So just proud of the guys, and hopefully we can just get a couple more steps on the ladder.
It says so much that you have a big win at Lee and then go on the road and get another big win.
That's tough.
That says a lot about this program, doesn't it?
Yeah, right now all 4 of the teams from Region 1 are ranked in the top 10. All 4 of them are favored in the games according to whatever computer does this sort of thing, including number 4 Houston County going to number 1 Brunswick, who's undefeated. So don't be surprised to see Region 1 sweep. And hopefully we will have Evans. Evans is 4-6. They won against South Effingham last week, 37-24. Real good quarterback prospect, but from what Mark Lastinger has told me, who covered the game for the Effingham newspaper, their line of scrimmage on both sides is a little bit questionable. So hopefully our guys will show up and just take care of business. First home playoff game since 2016.
Yeah, and like all of our teams represented, you want the fans to show up. You want them to show up here in Cairo and Thomasville.
Well, the good news is hopefully the weather will hold up. I think we're going to have a pretty good contingent of Thomasville folks come support our team. I heard a lot of the Yellow Jacket fans talking about going downtown and supporting the Dogs on Saturday night. So the way that works out, I think, is good for the community.
Jim, will you be there?
I'm either going to Cairo or Brooks.
Hey, well, we'd love to.
I brought you. I jinxed you.
You brought me a lot of good luck.
I'm telling you, he may not be allowed
I ate
over there.
pregame beside him, and that jinxed him.
Oh man.
Well,
You're welcome to come to Jackets Nest, just saying.
I don't know. Technically, you haven't seen us win this year, so I don't know.
That's right. That's not a good thing if I come.
Yeah.
See, there you go.
All right, well, let's start at another win. Colquitt is also playing well. They beat Richmond Hill 41-14. They have the Pebble Brook Falcons. They're 4-6 coming into town, so Colquitt County rolls and looks like they're playing well and poised for another playoff run. We've said a lot of good things about this team. Anything else you guys want to say as they embark on playoff run about Colquitt County?
Quarterback's real good, and defense is very, very stingy.
Yeah, that stingy defense will travel.
Yes,
that's for sure.
That's what you got to have in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It seemed like from the middle part of the season they played Lee County about halfway through, and that was one of those kind of battle of the Titans type things. And their offense just took control of that football game. And it seems like since that point, you knew the defense was going to be sporty, but the offense, which is junior laden, really turned the corner. They have been pouring it on since. So.
They might have broke Lee County.
Yeah, it could.
And then y'all poured salt in their wound.
Hey, that's okay.
After Warner Robbins, Northside.
Yeah.
It's after you lose a game like that, I don't know how you recover. I'll be honest with you. So.
But Colquitt's on a roll, and I don't expect anything to change. They'll be favored to play for state for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's go on to Thomasville High School. You guys were playing Thomasville High School. Am I saying it right?
Had a real good week. Yes.
You weren't playing open. You were playing Thomasville High School. You've got Jackson
we played
coming
on
in
Thursday morning.
There we go. You had a game Thursday
morning. Had a good game Thursday morning, but I mean, we got Jackson Red Devils coming to town. They're from Butts County, just up above Forsyth, Georgia. They fit all the Peach County won that region. The other teams wound up 2-2 in that region, and because Upton Lee beat Jackson, we get Jackson in town. They run out of the shotgun, but most of the time they got two backs in the backfield. So look for them to try to run the ball on us a little bit, but hopefully we won't have E.J. Bean. He won't be back. He had a season-ending injury at Darty. He won't be back. So the freshmen have got to tote us through the playoffs. So, but
they've done.
We've been dealing with a freshman quarterback who's toted us through a lot of games, and Levante Cole, the freshman running back's played well. But the key to this team is the defense. They're like a bunch of ants. They're all over the field. Wherever the ball goes, they're gonna sting you. So, as the defense goes, the Dogs go.
All right. Sting you like Yellow Jackets is what it sounds like.
Okay.
They bite you like the bite.
Okay.
But again, and you got a lot of experience on that defensive side, even though you got young guys, some young guys at skill positions.
The key move of the season was moving Jay Randall from starting running back to cornerback, and he's in 2 games. He has 4 interceptions and 1 touchdown, and
kind of a shutdown guy.
And he's a shutdown corner. And we were worried about him tackling, but he comes up and strikes you just like the rest of them. So he's just a baller. Wherever you put him, he could probably center the ball if he had to.
That's right. Put him in center, he'll be fine. All right, let's go Cairo and the rivalry game with Bainbridge.
Can I read something that a Bainbridge person wanted me to read?
Apparently we generated some controversy.
Yeah,
I'm glad the good folks over
did.
at Bainbridge are watching us. So.
But anyway, what'd you do?
Yeah, what did you do?
Michael wrote this.
Okay.
I did not write it.
It says Cairo has not fared well in the last few years against their perennial rival.
See, I wouldn't even use that word. That's a big word.
Yeah, we know it's
I
not
wouldn't
Michael.
even use that
He
word.
wouldn't use
What word ain't coming out of my mouth?
He said we wasn't their rival, so he wrote that down. So they wanted me to read that to you.
I think perennial flower or something.
That's right.
I'll get the record straight in a minute, but first I do want to, I thought our coaches did a great job of getting our kids to a level to play. First half, it kind of reminded me of the Central game. They fumbled the opening kickoff like we did against y'all. Our kicker fell on it and got the ball, and first play we score. So you got them backed against the wall. They answer, but we score again, and we're staying right with them, playing with a lot of emotion, playing, capitalizing on some turnovers. They had some penalties, and we capitalizing on everything they did. And then second half, they just pulled away, and eventually talent and ability and all that takes over, and emotion doesn't last long. But a very good football team. I've said from the very beginning, they're a great team, and they showed it. And I'm just glad they only got 53, because if there had been a longer quarter, it would have been more. And so, but to clarify what I've been saying for many years,
They're not your rival.
I have not said that. I said I want everybody to be able to hear
All right,
this clearly.
all right,
Turn
everybody.
your VCR on, hit record, so you'll have this. Okay.
Oh, that's old school.
What I've said
Nobody
is
has a
we
VCR.
are. There
It may be in
could
Cairo.
be
Yeah.
people in Bainbridge.
Yeah.
And so here's the deal. We are there. They love beating Cairo. I mean, a lot of emotion. They have T-shirts. They have a throw down, get down, syrup sop and pep rally. And that's great.
Yeah.
Yes,
Joe has
sir.
a question.
Who doesn't love beating Cairo?
And it doesn't, and you do, because it doesn't happen often. You got us this year.
5 years in a row, it says here.
And
Now
so,
6.
and it is. We have a hard time playing against 6A teams. But the problem is that they love beating us, and they've done it a lot lately. But when you look at rivals, we play for the cert pitcher with Thomasville. We play for the bucket against Thomas County Central, because they're two huge rivals that go back. Thomasville goes 100 years back. Central is a big rival as well. Bainbridge is a rival.
Yeah.
Bainbridge is a rival.
Y'all need to get
but we don't
something.
play for
Yeah.
we don't make no T-shirts. We don't have no pep rallies. I'm just saying.
They circle your Cairo game on the schedule.
And I'm excited for it.
Hey, let's come up with a
Nothing
trophy.
bad
Yeah, y'all
against
need a
it.
trophy.
I'd love to have a trophy
The
against
Bearcat trophy.
Some kind of
the
trophy.
Bear and Cat
The
trophy.
Bear
or something.
syrup trophy.
a Cirque Bear trophy or something. But I'm just nothing. It was nothing negative against Bainbridge
No, it
at
wasn't.
all. I wasn't intending anything to be. I said we are there.
You were the talk of the stands.
I hear. I heard.
You
all
were.
that.
You're the man.
And,
You were the man. Where's Michael Best?
What if we
I
get,
wasn't hard to find.
what if we get a little statue of like Winnie the Pooh with his head stuck in a honey jar
Yeah,
or something?
yeah.
Put that on
There
there.
you go.
That'd be
That might
appropriate
work.
in some way.
But no, there was no disrespect intended, and I mean, how can you be a rival when you get beat 5-6 years in a row now?
Well,
Hard
yeah.
to be a rival. But,
Hey, we're going to call it the Matanzas trophy.
There
How
you
about
go.
if we do that?
Memorial.
But
It's memorial.
congratulations to the Bearcats. Very good football team. Well coached. Did a great
Yeah.
job. And, I said all along, Bainbridge is in our region. I mentioned that.
Yeah, you have
several
once or
times.
twice.
And y'all still have a home playoff game.
And we
Yep.
do. And when when I go back and look at here's the thing. Go back and look at us. We lost 3 games. But if you go further back to our spring game against Colquitt and then go to our preseason game against Ware County, you got to realize we've lost to the region 1-3A, 1-4A, 1-5A, 1-6A, and 1-7A region champions
That's pretty
Yeah.
impressive.
since Colquitt. We lost our coach in the middle of June, and I thought our coaching staff has done a great job putting the coaching staff together. And so our fans should not get discouraged or
That's
down.
right.
We've lost to
Some good teams.
very
Pretty
good
good
football
teams.
teams.
Yep.
3 of those ain't nobody beat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are 3, Ware County is undefeated, Colquitt's undefeated, y'all are undefeated. And all those won region championships. So Cairo fans should not get down.
No.
We've got an opportunity to come out like, we've always talked about. You get in the playoffs, you never know what'll happen.
Records are 0 and
And,
0
right.
at that
So-
There's
point.
a conspiracy theory going around. They
Yeah,
threw that game.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
they
we
made a
good
better
bracket.
bracket.
You caught on to us. So that was it. We could not tackle the veer.
Hey, let's get on to this. Let's get on to this West Side Macon game. So they're 7-3, pretty good team.
Yeah,
you got
they
coming
are.
in.
They're coming in, and there was some question about was it going to be them or Baldwin, because they had a 3-way. I think they had a 4-way tie at one point, and they broke the ties down. So we do play West Side, and Bainbridge will play Baldwin at home, and we'll play West Side at home. So good luck to the Bearcats. Good luck to the Syrup Makers, and we had a 3-way tie the rest of the way down from our region. And Shaw and Westover won so they'll be
So
traveling.
Westover made the playoffs?
They did.
All right.
Yeah. So now it comes a time where we all start rooting for everybody. We
Yeah.
get in the playoffs, like it's always South Georgia versus everybody. I always pick the
Yeah,
South Georgia
and I'm
teams,
pulling for the Bearcats. Good luck, Cats.
Yeah, there we go. So all right, look at
Pulling
there.
for the Syrup Makers,
Wink,
pulling for
wink.
the Bulldogs, pulling for the Yellow Jackets.
Wink, wink.
All right, so a couple of the teams we need to be pulling for here. We've got Mitchell County. They beat Baconton Charter 40-16, and they're going to clinch in the first round of the playoffs. Also,
That'll be a good game.
that should be a good game. Also, Pelham lost to Brooks, which is Brooks is good at football.
They brought the hammer with them. It sounds
They did.
Like.
They're going out of the frying pan into the fire.
And now they
with
go
Dublin.
to Dublin, that should be Double A, but they're
No, they're single A. They
okay.
are truly single
But they're
A.
very big and very good.
They're all. Roger
single.
Holmes always has them.
Always have a good.
Brooks
good.
plays Bleckley County, our neighbor too.
So that ought to be an epic game.
That'll
there
be
to
an
start
epic
out.
game.
Anyway, so let's hope they do well. Also, Brookwood beats Valwood 19-18. Hold on to the last minute to win the game, and they are playing open, and they'll play the winner of Southland and Pinewood in 2 weeks.
So let's say for the first time since 2007, Thomasville, Brookwood, and Central, all of the Thomas County schools, all region champions.
Pretty cool,
How
right
about
there.
that?
How about
That's
that?
pretty sporty now.
Yeah,
That
and
doesn't happen very often.
Yep, they're
So-
Colquhoun in the mix right
Yep.
there. You got that.
Yep. And Cairo's not in
Cairo-
Thomas County, so I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry,
We,
not to,
hey,
not
we
to
didn't get
diss.
beat by Brookwood.
Yeah,
There you go.
Of course, we didn't play them. But
yeah.
But congratulations to the
Yes.
Warriors, the Dogs, and the Jackets. That's pretty neat.
Great year. It's funny to me. You guys are more historians than I am, but a lot of times when one of the teams around is good, everybody kind of raises their level. It's kind of interesting how that happens. So anyway, all right, we're going to see if we can raise our level, and we're going to take a break, and we'll be right back on the press box.
Damage to underground utility lines is a problem in the United States, and unsafe digging practices is a major cause. Unsafe digging can compromise community safety and disconnect people from critical services. Contractors, homeowners, and other utility owners need to be safe. Here's a few things to remember. Call 811 before digging. Wait the required time. Respect the marks and flags. Dig with care. If damage occurs, call your local utility provider and then make the call to 811.
And welcome back to the press box. I'm so glad you're sticking with us. Let's talk a little college football. Let's talk a little Georgia dominant win over Tennessee. What do you guys like about that game, Randy? We'll talk about kind of the rest of the season, but tell me about that game.
I was pleased with Stetson Bennett, Michael Best.
Heisman Trophy candidate.
He has, listen, the guy played a great game. I mean, there's no way around it. The play where Tennessee blitzed off the end, and you're thinking, okay, we're about to kill him, and he just took off and scored a touchdown, threw some great passes, only had a couple of them that were really just misthrown. Stetson's playing at a pretty high level right now, but the key to the game was Georgia's defense. Michael, you had to be pleased with that.
yeah, they played at a very high level and really disrupted Hooker and would not allow him to get into his rhythm. And Kirby had been really preaching all week, don't give him any layups.
Yeah.
And so they had to fight for everything. And I think Kirby was intent on we'll take pass interference over a long pass.
Yep.
And so we had a few pass interferences. And
Yeah, and long term, I think rules wise, I think we need to do something about that. But
Yeah.
that's okay. If that's not
Need
the
to
point
go
of
to
this thing.
professional rule.
Wherever it
It's
was.
where it happened.
But anyway, so good win, great win. Just everything I think you want to see as a Georgia fan coming out of this game. You think that defense is going to keep this up? Do you think, Michael? What's your take? You've got Mississippi State coming up, Kentucky. Of course, Georgia Tech doesn't really count. And then you've got
Yeah, they
poor,
do.
poor
Yes,
Georgia
they
Tech.
do count.
They
do count.
That's pure old hate.
Your old hate.
Old-fashioned hate.
Poor Georgia Tech didn't have what they used to have. Sorry, Georgia Tech. I don't want to offend you.
I
but
think the
that's
defense found out a lot about themselves that they can play at that level. And watching some of the interviews with the players after the game, they said practice was a lot harder than the game was. That Kirby took it to a really high level for practice, and they said the game was not as hard as the practices they went through to get ready.
When you have one assistant and that's their job is to look at all the Tennessee games and do all that, I mean, they were very much paying attention to that. Randy, other comments?
Well, you don't want to say that Kirby was sandbagging, but there were a lot of things that they did defensively Saturday that they had not done this year.
Yeah.
And
that's good coaching.
That is great coaching, and that takes some guts because he's been in some situations where he could have opened that can up, but he didn't. And I love the fact it tells you something about the Georgia mindset when Keely Ringo calls Kirby 2 weeks before the Tennessee game and says, I want 11. Because Georgia basically went to man, and they said, okay, you may beat us, but we are going to cover you like a blanket, mano a mano, and it worked. And the fact that that Ringo, who's I guess arguably the top player in that secondary, said, "Give me the responsibility of covering the guy who's the hottest receiver on that team. I want him." That says something to me. And Kentucky is more of a ground-based attack, and Mississippi State, you don't know what the heck you're going to get with that bunch because of Mike Leach. I don't expect to see much different, and I don't expect to see Georgia show a lot offensively.
Yeah,
in
you
these
kind
next
of
couple
expect more games like this until the SEC championship. Is
Yep.
that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, because I think in the second half when it was 27-6 or something, and Kirby just basically took his
Shut it
foot off
down.
the gas. I mean, they had a 9-minute drive at one point just running the ball. And you just don't see that in college football anymore. I think he pretty well just said,
How about the 75-yard punt? Too?
man alive. And that was a turning point.
I saw several of them Saturday.
Yeah.
And I saw some 20-yard punts too.
Yeah.
Depending on
depending on where the
Conditions, depending
wind.
on which way you were going.
Yeah, that kid, that was just about as good as it got. When you see ESPN highlights and they were all showing a punt, that's pretty special.
And that's how important special teams are. You
Yeah.
kind of you take it for granted unless you're the one who's backed up right there. So.
Big win, though. No
Yes,
doubt.
yep, and kind of cement their place, and they may interesting discussion for another day, but they could lose the SEC title and still get in. Anyway, we'll discuss
That's
that
the
later.
conspiracy.
Yeah, there's all kinds of fun stuff to talk about, and we'll get to that as the shows roll on. But Florida State, big winners over Miami, very dominant win. Miami, didn't want anything after a quarter or two. So great win.
They had quarterback problems too.
Yeah,
with
when you see quarterback injuries,
That's okay, though.
yeah, you still really great to see the Florida State O-line dominate. They ran a lot of counters and stuff.
When have you seen the Florida State offensive line do that to Miami?
In a while.
right.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Do that to anybody.
Anybody, but especially Miami because of their defensive fronts.
And
Now, is this a turning point, though?
I think it's a very good sign.
They're back.
Although,
I'm
not going to do
back.
turning point at this point. That will be next year. We'll kind of know.
But that's a big
But
step.
it's a big step. Now, Miami, quarterback issues, injury issues, but to go down and dominate like you can is a big deal.
Their defense the week before had shut down a pretty good offense to nothing but field goals.
Yeah,
And they couldn't stop FSU's running attack.
Miami did a good job defensively against North Carolina, who has a really good offense. So a good sign. Again, Florida State's not one of those teams where they can,
Take a week off.
they've got to play again against Syracuse up there. If Syracuse has the right guys healthy, it'll be a dogfight. So
Now, I learned something, and it's always
Okay.
good to learn things.
yeah,
You're an educator.
I
so-
am. I like to learn. And so I learned that when y'all play Florida, it only happens every 2 years, but Osceola does not throw the spear from the horse. He gets off
Where have you been?
and plants the spear because that means it's all-out war.
okay,
It's a bigger. So apparently Jim already knew that because him and Osceola are tied.
yeah.
Well, I've been to enough FSU Florida games.
I've just never noticed that he gets off the horse at the Florida game.
always,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
So that'll be the day after Thanksgiving will be that Florida game. Let's get to yes no. Let's end it up here.
You ready?
So, all right,
Settle
first
in.
one is
Get it.
a Georgia question. So Randy,
Dadgummit.
this is easy though. Georgia will coast to the playoffs. That
Yes.
includes the SEC title game.
Ooh.
So would they coast over LSU?
I don't know. LSU's playing pretty good right now. But yeah, I'll say yeah.
You
Can
say
you
yes?
imagine going to a Pop Warner game and Bryce Young and
Yeah.
That's
LSU's
crazy.
quarterback
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
field?
That's
Daniels.
crazy. Yeah, it is.
And Daniels played safety or something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was a cool story. I like that. Georgia will coast to the playoffs.
No, Georgia still's got that one game coming that makes everybody worry.
Georgia
We
Tech?
had it yet.
It
Maybe
ain't
the
Georgia Tech.
game.
You're going to Mississippi State, so
Yeah,
weird
but we
things
can-
happen.
I
Right?
think there's one struggle left in it.
I think they coast to the playoffs. but-
They've been coasting all year. They'll coast the rest of the way.
All right, Michael Best. ACC winner will be North Carolina. North Carolina will be the ACC champs. They have Wake, Georgia Tech, NC State, and then they would have to beat Clemson.
No.
Clemson's
no.
going to win the other side?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, because I think everybody else has multiple losses.
Oh, okay.
So I think unless Clemson wins, well, Notre Dame doesn't count too. I forget
they
they're out of
don't count?
conference. Yeah,
How does that
So-
work?
they're not technically in conference this year. So even though they're on everybody's schedule,
okay.
so North Carolina winners.
No, not
You say
against
no.
I say no.
You say no.
What do you say?
I say no, but North Carolina is pretty good. They're fun. They've got a really good quarterback, so watch him. But their schedule is kind of back end loaded. Wake and NC State are pretty good. So here we go, Michael. Bo Nix for Heisman.
Bo Nix for not
No?
not
All right.
Bo Nix. He can't beat.
Randy?
No.
You say no?
If he never had to play at SEC school, no.
I'm Stetson all the way, baby. Heisman
Oh,
Are you
yeah,
waving that flag?
You carrying
now?
that
Look at
banner
you
now.
Okay.
Oh,
All
man.
right. Goodness
You
gracious.
just jinxed him.
Yeah.
What do you say? What do you say?
I say no, but everybody
He's
keeps
making a
getting
case.
He's making a case.
everybody's being eliminated from it. I mean, don't you think Tennessee quarterback Brendan Hooker's kind of out of the running now?
It didn't help
Bryce
C.J.
Young?
Stroud Saturday because his passing yards, but he rushed for almost 80 yards and had 2 big runs.
Yeah.
That's a knock on him. He never runs the ball. Well, he showed him and he ran the ball.
I think it's Stroud's to lose at this
Yeah.
point.
If he didn't lose it Saturday, he won't lose.
But if they lose to Michigan, it's kind
Then
of
that
like
changes
nobody.
it up, too.
A lot
Stetson
changes.
snuck in the back door.
He
now.
has, though.
He's
He
getting
has,
mentioned
though.
again, and
So there
rightfully
you go.
so.
And somebody
Yeah, I think
gave me
so.
his number. I called him, and
Well, you
Yeah,
worked with
was
him
that
when you
him?
went to Athens, didn't you?
I called him
Yeah.
Friday night.
You just worked
Call
with
him,
him.
It's been hard to get through though. I kept calling.
You were working with him on PR stuff.
was.
You know, kind of like okay.
He was telling you to call
Bad
him.
PR.
That's who he said.
Bad PR, like you gave us, bad PR.
That's who he said.
All right, here we go. Last one. All right, I'm gonna go to you, Jim. First, Brian Kelly had for LSU coach. Kind of had a bad offseason. You know, he was on the Instagram dancing around, looking a little foolish, and he
Fake
changed
Southern
his
accent,
accent a little bit. Sounded like Foghorn Leghorn a little bit. So he had a bad offseason. But so
all
Brian,
the young kids at home went,
who's that?
Who's
Yeah.
Foghorn? Who? What?
Sorry for the old
What kind of
reference.
name is that?
Yeah. Brian Kelly and LSU have been playing mind games with Saban all along.
No.
You say no? See, he's been playing
No.
3D chess here.
No.
You say no?
No.
I say no, but it is interesting. They played a great game.
That was a
against,
great coaching job.
Yeah,
Really
it
good
was.
coaching
It
job. And I said, all along, Brian Kelly can coach him up. Now, you may not like him, but he can coach him
He's
up.
definitely reinvigorated. There's no question. And they'll probably be in Atlanta. The way
Yeah.
it's looking.
That's could be a fun game. If Georgia takes care of business, they'll be fine. But anyway.
I hope.
All right, so we're glad you're watching. Hey, glad you're watching over there in Bainbridge. We want you to keep watching. We'll see you next week on the Press Box.